Welcome to our channel. We'd be thrilled if you'd give us a like and subscribe. This story is about a shocking incident where a successful black woman owning her private jet faced disbelief and denial from a pilot who couldn't accept her as the rightful owner. Despite presenting undeniable proof, she was questioned and blocked from boarding. What unfolded next exposed deep-seated biases, sparked a viral movement, and forced a company to confront its flaws. This is a tale of resilience, truth, and the fight to claim one's rightful place. She owned the jet, had the receipts, and still they told her, "You can't be her." Because sometimes the truth isn't enough when you don't fit the stereotype. When Lauren Harris stepped out of a black SUV at the private jet terminal in Atlanta, the temperature was already 83 degrees. She slid her sunglasses over her eyes, shielding them from the morning sun, then adjusted the cuff of her navy travel suit. Her heels clicked on the asphalt as she walked purposefully, smooth, confident, practiced. She was used to moving through the world this way, controlled, efficient, invisible, until it was necessary. Lauren had just wrapped up the Women Who Build conference, 3 intense days of keynotes, mentoring, and business pitches. She'd stayed up until 1 a.m., analyzing funding rounds for a young founder from Chicago, then showed up early the next morning to speak on resilience in leadership. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. People came to her. As she approached the jet, her assistant, Kayla, spoke through her Bluetooth earpiece. Flight plans filed. Clear weather all the way to Dallas. Snacks are on board. Oh, and the pilot's new, not our usual guy. Lauren paused at the foot of the jet stairs. A tall man in a crisp uniform and aviator sunglasses stood halfway up, holding a tablet. His name tag read, Carter. He gave her a tight smile, rehearsed, not hostile, but practiced. "Good morning. This flight is reserved for Ms. Lauren Harris," he said evenly, scrolling through his tablet, avoiding eye contact. Lauren blinked, confused for half a second. "Yes, I'm Lauren Harris." Carter didn't respond immediately. He slowly looked up, his eyes scanning her face, her outfit, then the monogrammed laptop bag slung over her shoulder. He chuckled, softly but audibly. "I'm sorry," he said, squaring his shoulders. "There must be a mistake. This jet is assigned to a passenger. Ms. Harris is listed as the primary." Lauren stood still. "Yes, that's me, Lauren Harris, founder of Nexus Corp. This is my jet." His face twitched, and for a moment he looked like he might apologize, but didn't. Instead, he stepped in front of the stairs, gently but firmly blocking her. "I'll need you to step back while we sort this out. You understand? Security protocols." Lauren's pulse quickened, but she didn't shout or argue. She reached into her blazer pocket and calmly pulled out her ID, a digital charter receipt on her phone, and even a photo of her on the same jet 2 weeks prior. "I get it. You're doing your job," she said carefully. "But this is my jet. It's all here." He didn't glance at the documents, just peeked at her phone, frowned, and said, "We've had imposters before. I'll need to verify this through corporate." A pause followed, the kind of silence that feels loud when it's heavy with judgment. Lauren sighed. "So, if I were a white guy in khakis and loafers, you'd be handing me champagne right now." The pilot's jaw twitched slightly, but he didn't respond. Instead, he radioed someone in the terminal, speaking in a low voice. Lauren looked past him at the jet, which literally bore her name. The last three letters of the tail number, LHA. It was hers. She'd worked 16-hour days for 7 years to earn this, and now she was politely being told she couldn't be herself here. She glanced at her phone and hit speed dial. Kayla answered on the first ring. "We've got a situation," Lauren said. But just when she thought it couldn't get more absurd, things took a turn that stunned her. Kayla didn't hesitate. "I'm calling Skylink Charter now." Lauren hung up and faced the pilot, now joined by a second man, an older ground operations manager with a gray beard and his own tablet. He glanced at Lauren, then at Carter, and stepped past her to whisper with the pilot. Lauren crossed her arms, watching them. Neither made any effort to acknowledge her as the person most affected by this absurd scene. Finally, the manager turned to her, his voice overly polite. "Ma'am, we're just confirming some things. It'll take a minute." She met his gaze directly. "And while you're confirming things, what am I supposed to do? Sit here on the tarmac and wait until someone remembers this jet is mine?" He gave a slight, unfriendly shrug. "Just standard checks, ma'am." Lauren's patience was thinning. Standard for whom? No one answered. Inside the terminal, passengers boarded flights seamlessly. A white woman in yoga pants and a designer bag had just breezed through a checkpoint, nodding. No clipboard, no questions. Lauren exhaled slowly, keeping her voice even. "I've been under contract with Skylink for 3 years. I fly out of Dallas every 2 weeks. I don't just use this jet. I lease it. I pay salaries, including yours." Carter finally looked up. "You're claiming you're Lauren Harris?" Lauren stared at him like he'd asked if water was wet. "Yes, and I've said it 4 times. He tilted his head slightly. "I just find that hard to believe." There it was, not security protocol, not lack of verification, but raw disbelief, unfiltered. Lauren lowered her voice. "And why's that?" "Say it out loud." He didn't. He wouldn't. He glanced at the ground operations manager, who took a step back, suddenly uncomfortable. Lauren stepped forward, slow and deliberate. "You know what bothers me most," she said, her voice like steel. "Not that you think I don't belong here. I'm used to that. People have doubted me in boardrooms, investor meetings, even panel discussions where I was the keynote speaker. But this is different." Carter squinted slightly, bracing himself. "You looked at me," she continued, "and decided I couldn't be her. Not by mistake, not by accident, because your idea of who should be here doesn't look like me." He shifted, visibly uneasy. "That's not it. Look, I didn't mean it like that." Lauren nodded. "But you did. You just didn't think I'd say it." Her phone buzzed again. "Kayla." Lauren answered instantly. "Talk to me." "I just spoke with Skylink's operations head," Kayla said quickly. "They're livid. The CEO will call you in 2 minutes. Don't move." Lauren smiled for the first time that morning, but it held no joy. She tilted her phone slightly so the men could hear. "My assistant's on with your bosses," she said. "And the only thing you should be checking right now is how fast you can apologize." But before anyone could say another word, a silver sedan pulled up from behind, and out stepped someone who turned the situation upside down. The door opened, and out walked Mia Thompson, Skylink's regional PR coordinator, in a sharp maroon suit and low black heels. She didn't smile. She didn't ask questions. She strode purposefully, holding a tablet in one hand and a phone in the other. Lauren exhaled quietly. She knew Mia. Carter didn't. "Who's this?" he asked, stepping forward, still guarding the jet stairs like it was a vault. Mia didn't slow down. "Mia Thompson, corporate. You must be the new pilot." Carter straightened slightly. "Yes, ma'am. First week on the Harris route." "Well, congratulations," she said, without warmth. "We'll talk about your future soon." Lauren crossed her arms, watching. Mia turned to her. "Ms. Harris, I'm so sorry. This should never have happened." Lauren said nothing yet. She wanted to hear Carter try to clean this up. He cleared his throat. "I was just trying to follow proper ID procedures." "She had everything," Mia cut in. "Her ID, charter payment receipt, her digital contract. And if you'd scanned the QR code on her phone, as per the protocol you apparently skipped during onboarding, you'd have instantly seen her name matches the manifest and jet registration." Carter's face flushed. "I was trying to prevent a security breach." "She paid for the jet." He opened his mouth again, but the ground operations manager fully backed off, as if wanting no part in the fallout. Lauren finally spoke. "He told me to my face he didn't believe I could be me." Mia looked at the pilot, expressionless. "Is that true?" He hesitated. "I didn't say it like that." "But you did," Lauren said. He looked down at the pavement. Mia let the silence stretch. Then she stepped aside and turned to Lauren. "Would you like to board now?" Lauren nodded. "Yes, I would." As she passed the men, one foot on the stairs, Carter blurted, "I didn't mean to offend anyone. It wasn't about race." Lauren paused, turning halfway, tilting her head. "Then what was it? My height? My haircut?" He didn't answer. She kept walking, step by step, until she reached the top and turned back. Her voice was clear but calm. "You see a black woman in a suit, holding every document, and your brain short-circuits. I've been through TSA with fewer questions. Truth is, if I were a tall white guy in a Patagonia vest with a golf bag, you'd have offered to carry my luggage." Mia, still on the tarmac, didn't blink. "Mr. Carter, leave your badge and ID on the operations desk inside." He looked stunned. "Wait, you're firing me?" "HR will contact you," she said. "That's all I can say for now." Carter froze for a moment, as if still processing. Lauren boarded the jet, buckled in, and surveyed the interior she'd designed. Cream leather, black walnut trim. A small brass plaque by the cabin door read, "Harris," her name, her place. And yet, even here, someone tried to push her out. She pulled out her phone and opened the camera app. She wasn't one for going live, but today was different. She started recording. "I'm sitting in my jet after being told I'm not me, despite showing every document, ID, receipt, contract. They still didn't believe me, because I didn't look like what they expected." She paused, staring into the lens. "I wonder how many women, especially black women, deal with this every day. But no one sees it. No one believes it until the camera's on." She hit stop, not expecting how fast the world would react when she shared it. Lauren posted it to her personal account just to share with friends and women in her circle. Within an hour, 3 business leaders she'd mentored reposted it. Then a journalist from Houston picked it up. Then a viral activist account. Then an actor. By the time she landed in Dallas, her name was trending. But before the internet exploded, one call hit personally. Mid-flight, as Lauren sipped water and tried to clear her head, a flight attendant leaned in quietly. The CEO of Skylink is on the line for you." "Secure line." Lauren put on the headset, unsure what to expect. "Ms. Harris," the voice said, low and even. "This is Daniel Tran. I'm calling to offer my deepest apologies." He sounded genuine, not robotic or scripted. "I reviewed the footage myself," he continued. "I also read the transcript of the pilot's comms with the terminal team. It's clear you were profiled, and it's equally clear we failed you, not just as a client, but as a person." Lauren didn't respond immediately. She wanted to hear the rest. He went on. "We're terminating the pilot immediately." "That's done, but I'm not calling for PR. I'm calling as a father." Lauren's eyebrows lifted slightly. "My daughter's 16, he said. "Half black, half Vietnamese. Last year, a mall security guard stopped her, not believing she bought the dress she was wearing. She had the receipt in her bag. They still accused her." Lauren exhaled softly. This was different. Tran's voice softened. "I can't fix what happened, but I want you to know this matters. It matters that you spoke up. It matters that you didn't stay silent." She thought for a moment, gazing at the clouds outside. "I wasn't planning to record anything," she said finally. "But his face, the certainty that I wasn't who I said I was, it stuck with me. And it's not just about me. It's about what that kind of thinking costs us." "It costs a lot," Tran replied. "Talent, peace, trust." A mutual, respectful silence hung between them. "I'd like to fly out and meet you in person," he added. "Not to save face, but to listen. No press, no cameras, just us." Lauren nodded, though he couldn't see. "I'll think about it." They exchanged a few more words, clear, direct, grounded. Then she removed the headset and leaned back. Her heart still pounded, not from confrontation, but from something else. A slow burn of questions with no clean answers. How many times had she worked twice as hard for half the credit? How many people had doubted her just because they could smile while doing it? She remembered the pilot's voice. Polite, measured, cold. "You're claiming you're Lauren Harris?" The audacity. She didn't want revenge. That wasn't her style. But she wanted the truth to hang in the air, uninterrupted, for once. She replayed the video, looking at her own face, calm, clear, focused. Her inbox was flooding, DMs, emails, a few media requests already. But one message stopped her mid-scroll. It was from a woman she didn't know, named Tara Hill. "I watched your video in my car in a Target parking lot and cried. 2 months ago, a cop asked why I was driving a Tesla and if it was mine. I didn't record it. I just said yes and drove off. I wish I'd done what you did. Thank you for making me feel seen." Lauren stared at it, her fingers hovering over the screen. She didn't realize that message would be the first of thousands, each with a story like hers, some worse, some quieter, all real. Lauren had built her career turning complex tech problems into clear, scalable systems. But what happened that day? There was no clean algorithm for it. By the next morning, the video had 2.6 million views. It wasn't long, just 45 seconds of quiet truth. But somehow it hit harder than any angry rant. The internet didn't just react, it roared. People shared their stories. A black realtor locked in a gated community because security thought he was lost. A Latina doctor asked if she was the nurse. An Indian woman questioned in first class on a Delta flight. Story after story, thread after thread. Lauren's voice was like turning on a mic in a room full of people who'd been whispering the same thing for years. But she didn't expect what came next. 2 days after the flight, Skylink issued a statement, not the usual hollow PR fluff. It was different. No long signatures, no sugarcoating. The title said it all. "We failed Lauren Harris. Here's why it matters." It wasn't defensive. It was uncomfortable, honest. They admitted their internal systems leaned too heavily on visual confirmation, that new hires weren't trained on implicit bias, that the protocol wasn't broken. It just wasn't built for someone like her. They ended with something no one expected, a commitment to have Lauren address their full board. And when they offered her that chance, she took it. 3 days later, she sat at a long, rectangular table in a glass-walled boardroom in San Francisco, facing 8 faces, some tense, some curious, all quiet. No filters, no press, just her voice. She stood, hands in her pockets, in the same travel suit from Atlanta. "I'm not here for money or a scholarship in my name," she said. "I'm here because I built something, and I was treated like a fraud in front of my own jet. That should scare every one of you, not for what it means to your brand, but for what it says about how your people see black women in the spaces we've earned." Someone at the table shifted uncomfortably. Lauren didn't flinch. Bias isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, clean, smiling, wearing a pilot's uniform, hiding in places you don't check, like assumptions. Another board member cleared their throat. "We're exploring new training models." "That's not enough," Lauren cut in. "If your training doesn't connect to lived experience, it's just another checkbox. Bias isn't a glitch. It's built in. And if you don't rewrite the code, it'll keep running in the background." A pause, then a soft voice spoke. It was a board member, Elijah Kim, a man in his 60s who hadn't said a word until now. "My wife is black," he said. "She's been followed in stores. A neighbor once asked if she was the maid, and I didn't fully get how bad it was until she stopped telling me about it." A heavy but not hostile silence followed. Lauren nodded slightly. "It's not about canceling trips," she said. "It's about accountability. Because if the system doesn't believe people like me belong, people like me have to prove it every day in every room." By the end of the meeting, the board agreed to a comprehensive review of hiring, vetting, and training processes. Lauren didn't hold her breath, but it was a start. As she stepped out into the California sun, her phone buzzed again. Another message, this time from a man named Cedric in Arizona. "You didn't ask to be an example, but thank you for being one anyway." Lauren smiled faintly. She didn't feel like an example. She just felt tired. But the story wasn't over. Not yet. Because the moment she stopped protecting everyone else's comfort, something unexpected happened. The truth didn't just spread, it stuck. A week later, Lauren stood in her backyard, phone in hand, watching her dog chase squirrels along the fence. She hadn't opened her email in 2 days. She needed space. But the world didn't stop talking. And this time, it wasn't just about her. It was about what her moment represented. CNN called. NBC wanted a sit-down. A talk show offered to fly her to L.A. She said no to all of it, not out of ingratitude, but because she didn't want her face to become a symbol people pointed to without grasping its weight. That morning, a neighbor she barely knew waved over the fence. "I saw your video," she said. I showed it to my teenage son. He needed to see it. Lauren thanked her, smiled politely, and went back inside. She wasn't angry anymore. She wasn't sad either, but she was more aware than ever of how much work lay ahead. Not just at a corporate level, but a human one. It was never about one pilot, one mistake, or one bad morning in Atlanta. It was about all the moments before it. Job interviews where she was overqualified, meetings where she was mistaken for an assistant, raised eyebrows when she introduced herself as CEO, the way people looked at her husband when he dropped her off in a Porsche. It all added up to something bigger. That's why she recorded that video. Not to go viral, not to make headlines, but because silence felt like giving permission. The wildest part? Her inbox kept filling. Strangers, colleagues, mothers, teens. Some black, some not. All with stories, all saying the same thing. Thank you for saying something when I couldn't. Later that evening, Kayla called to check in. Just checking. How you holding up? Lauren sank onto her couch, pulling a blanket over her knees. Tired, but not sorry. It shouldn't be like this. A pause. You know, Kayla added, we always say representation matters. But what you did wasn't just representation. It was resistance. It was taking space back. Lauren didn't speak for a second. Then it shouldn't have to be resistance. I just needed to catch my flight. Kayla sighed. You're right, but we're not there yet. They sat in silence for a bit. Then Lauren asked, did we ever hear back from Mia? Oh, yeah, Kayla said. She sent flowers and a handwritten note. Said you reminded her why she took this job in the first place. Lauren smiled faintly. That's nice. The sun was setting outside her window, orange light spilling across her living room floor. Her dog, curled up by the fireplace, let out a sleepy grunt. Lauren reached for her journal, untouched for months, and scribbled a few lines. I didn't choose the moment, but I chose what to do with it, and for now, that's enough. Because what happened in Atlanta wasn't just about Atlanta. It's what people saw in the story, what it said about where we are, and what it reminded us of who we still need to become. Sometimes it takes one moment for someone to say, this isn't okay, and suddenly others remember they know how to speak too. So, if this has ever happened to you, don't shrink. Don't second guess. You deserve your space. Say your name. Own your story. Now it's your turn. Have you ever felt like you didn't belong in a space you'd earned? Share your story in the comments. Someone out there needs to hear it.